how did the whole process of the Knuckleheads come about?
Oh man, that started with two stories. It started with first we did a story Quentin Richardson kind of telling his story growing up in Chicago, right? Which he's never really done. Okay, so he gives a little snippet, and Quentin's been through a lot, all right, especially with the death of his brother. Like, I mean, like there was a lot there, right, to kind of unpack. And then we published a year later a story of Darius Miles, who's one of Quentin's best friends, right? So Darius was going through what he was going through right, after the loss of his mother, right? And we were able to tell his story, as they say nowadays, tell his truth, and which was all just, and all y'all getting is a snippet of their story, right? And so what happened is the fans they really took to it. Oh man, Darius, where's Darius been? It's so good to hear from Darius. I know it's like he's going through so much, and they kind of the sentiment was there. Like they wanted more, so we did some Reddit AMAs, did some Reddit stuff. Did some stuff on Twitter, Darius and Q here and there, and then me and Q was sitting around talking about a potential podcast. Right, this is me and Q just kicking it, and Q is he's very proactive. He's very innovative. Like he's always thinking of different ideas. So we were talking, and he was like, man, he was like, yo, we should, man, CB, we need to do a podcast trying to figure it out. So he had us talking. I was like, actually, no, that might be a good idea. And then let's think about the culture, right? Think about the culture of sports. So people remember Q&D most famously for their celebration, right? Right? Two young kids came to the league together as friends. And it would boom, 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 2 taps to the head, boom, 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 2 taps after every 3-point, after every dunk, jumping on top of each other. Always like it was like a certain energy that people remembered. Even the old heads, right? The OGs at the time was like, yo, y'all celebrating too much, but I love y'all. Y'all are good, right? And because they did it with respect. Anyway, so because of the culture that loved the Q&D, when they were doing their Knuckleheads thing back in the day, the Knucklehead celebration, that was kind of easy to kind of tap into that audience again when they put out their stories, because people haven't really heard their stories, haven't heard from them in a long time in that way. And so we were able to take that and transition that into, okay, let's try a pilot. We tried a pilot. Pilot was phenomenal, right? And we were able to get Hennessy on the phone. Our sales team was able to get Hennessy on the phone and for Hennessy to buy into the idea of this podcast that we haven't really, all we have was a pilot, right? And Hennessy loved it, thank God. And our sales team was phenomenal. Hennessy loved it and jumped on for the initial season, and we were able to put something out, and it was a hit.